Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Reach out for purchase, pricing, and availability concerning this watch. So today we discuss something that is beautiful and rare, and possibly the best of Breitling as it is post-2017, a steward of its history and a faithful one at that. Breitling in the year 2020 launched 153 of these platinum limited edition AVI Reference 765 1953 re-editions. Now, they were also available in steel and rose gold, but the most exquisite and exclusive is this 153-piece edition with blue dial in platinum. So a tribute to the Aviator, or Aviation 765 of 1953. It's a pilot's watch, and it's an alternative to the common Navitimer. It's also one of the watches that represents Breitling staying very true to its history when it does a re-edition. So case size will be similar. Dials will not have dates if the originals did not have dates. And in many cases, such as this one, if the original was manual wind, so will be the re-edition. It's not big. It's 41.1 millimeters, which was large for the time, but not huge today, 14.3 millimeters thick, and then 48.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. It's a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, which is quite modern. But this watch does a good job convincing the non-expert that it may have some sort of roots in the early 1950s, while still giving you modern fit, finish, luxury quality, and refinement. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it wears really well. A lot of the thickness is actually the dramatically domed thermoplastic crystal, and yes, it is a thermoplastic crystal, like I said, very true to history. The lugs are not over the edge of my wrist, and I've got a little bit of clearance, so I'm going to recommend that this watch could be worn on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. It should slide underneath most dress cuffs, but definitely all jackets. And then over the top, which exaggerates the width of every watch, you can see the lugs are still not over the edge of my wrist. The strap is beefy. As you can see, very thick. They give you a lot of leather. Sort of pale honey calf skin with a sort of natural grain and minimal tanning on the top. It features a contrasting stitch, including the binding. Lots of leather, many layers, sheer cut and lacquered for refinement. You can see we have a matching buckle, and it has a combination of polish and beveling, but take a look at the underside. As you can see, it is made of white gold, and you can fairly easily see that as the color is dramatically warmer than the ultra white platinum of the case. So that's a little bit of a curious contrast, but white gold is a stronger gold. It's the strongest of the golds, and it's stronger than platinum, so this would be the place for it. Taking a look, I often see this on precious metal cases where owners buy the watch and they just kind of lose their nerve and they never take the protective shipping stickers off. Unfortunate for the original owner, but great for the next owner, as you get in a watch that is essentially exactly as it left the factory. You can see there, we've got the little Breitling year of manufacture code between the lugs. That says 2720. So that means this was probably made in the 27th week of 2020. Vertical satin finish between the lugs. You can see that the lugs feature squared off ends, a very minimal bevel and polish on their tops. Vintage pump style pushers, Breitling B on the crown. We have a small beaded bezel, but if you look carefully, you can see it's still the captive bezel construction for which Breitling is famous, meaning this bezel has to be disassembled to be removed from the case. It cannot be snapped off by accident because it is not snapped on. Slightly more expensive, but also more durable way to build a bezel. I like to see that. Now, it is a 12-click bezel, but I need to emphasize it does have detents, it does have a click, so it's got a nice precise feel to it, and it's easy to anchor the hour index bezel specifically over one of the hour stations. It's very pleasing. You can also see the thermoplastic giving that lovely off-axis distortion and bubble-like profile that you get on a vintage plexi, because this is a piece of thermoplastic, not a sapphire. We've got the distinctive radially arrayed counters, but we've also got, note, a 15-minute counter and a photina that is nevertheless very effective at luminescence. Take note, see that the chronograph minutes display, as well as the chronograph seconds hand, both visible in the dark. Photina is a controversial thing, and I don't love the idea of simulating patina and aging, but every once in a while, it just looks good purely as a color choice, and the complement to the blue of the blue lacquered dial is really effective, especially when combined with the white varnished hands. You can see that the hour and minute hand are syringe style, which is beautiful and cool. And then we have a calibration radially arrayed around the outside that allows you to easily keep track of the minutes, seconds, and chronograph fractions of second. Solid case back, but you can see on the reverse side it says 1 of 153, 765 AVI. It is a chronometer, it is platinum, and it does feature caliber B09, which is a manual wind adaptation of Breitling's in-house B01. So you can see we do have a stop seconds function. We have a vertical clutch, so there's no jump, stagger, or extraneous motion when you start the chronograph. And because of the vertical clutch, if you wish, you can just leave the chronograph running full time. The column wheel makes the operation feel extremely crisp. And then all this is 30 meters water resistant, which is a dress watch standard that's very common. The watch features a 70-hour power reserve, 5-position adjustment, and it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. So in addition to being a very high quality in-house manual winding chronograph caliber, it is also a very accurate one. This watch kind of pleases on every single level. Historical purists, vintage fans who don't want to deal with the hornet's nest of the vintage world, and folks who want something that's profoundly luxurious but in a sports watch package. Getting a blue dial, platinum case, and a limited edition this scarce definitely delivers. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for all purchase and pricing details.